Welcome everyone to Yanks on the Pitch podcast episode number 4. I'm Kash.
And I'm Eddy.
Today is Sunday, December 10th, 2023. This episode is unique in that it is our first episode with real microphones. Check them out. Ideally, sound quality is better for you listeners out there. And we are showing our faces since this episode is being video recorded. So check out our YouTube post if you'd like to get a glimpse of your boys. Today's episode, we have the Copa America Draw. We'll also break down U.S. men's national team club play abroad. Pepi's scoring streak is continuing, and there's a good chunk of EPL action to cover as well, since we got the double amount of games we usually get this past week. And then also, of course, we'll also touch on the MLS Championship that happened just yesterday. We'll get right down into it. Eddy, the Copa America Draw. We are officially 193 days out from opening day. It's exciting. I know it's a little bit of a long time, but we're talking about it already, of course. The draw was on this past Thursday, so a few days ago. The U.S. is in the same group with Uruguay, Panama, and Bolivia. There's some other strong teams in the other groups, but our group is looking pretty strong too. What do you think?
That's right. It's only 6 months away, and we definitely have a strong group. We got the best team from the second pot. That's Uruguay. I know a lot of people are upset about that because you obviously don't want the best teams in your group, but unfortunately, the United States got Uruguay. I think it's a good thing, to be honest, because right now we don't know where the U.S. men's national team stands. A lot of people are saying it's the golden generation. Other people are saying all they've done is beat Iran in the World Cup. They didn't do much else in the World Cup. So it's a lot of, who are we? Should Greg Berhalter be our coach going into the World Cup? Nobody really knows. So I think it's good we got Uruguay because we're going to get tested hopefully twice against Uruguay in group play. And then assuming we exit the group, the quarterfinals are going to be against Brazil or Colombia, both of which are also good teams. So I think it's a good thing. This is going to be a big test for the US to see who we are. Us as fans, we're going to get a lot of answers. I hope this is a tryout for Berhalter to see if he's going to be the guy leading us in the World Cup. And I think that's what the Copa America is going to be. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I know you mentioned it a couple times here, but Berhalter, it seems he's already earned his coaching position for the team. He's been coaching them for a long time, and there was the whole drama with the whole Reina and family, right? But it seems that we've kind of moved past that. We can break that down if you want to a little bit here. I know maybe the fans don't know about it too much. I like to think everyone does, but and I know you also use the word golden generation, so I kind of want to talk about that too, because some people don't agree. But let's just talk about that. What do you think? Is this the golden generation?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say for club play, I don't think we've ever had this many players playing as well as they do for club. We got Pulisic, Anthony Robinson, Serginho Dest, Pepi scoring. He's not a starter, but he's scoring. So in the past, we've obviously had Donovan, Dempsey, Tim Howard, who on the U.S. national team level, I think we're performing better and achieved better results than our current team. But there's just so much potential right now that I think it has the potential to be the golden generation. And I think we're going to get that answer at the Copa America. So the way the Copa America is set up, the U.S. group stage, they play Bolivia first, then Panama, and Uruguay is last. And that game's going to be in Kansas City. So maybe we should do a little road trip from Chicago, 7 hours.
Cool. That would be cool.
But the U.S. needs to take care of business those first two games against Bolivia and Panama. Those are two teams we should beat. Maybe not with ease, but we should beat them. And don't let it come down to the Uruguay game if you're going to advance to the next stage or not. You got to take care of business in those first two games. If you let it come down to the Uruguay game and you don't advance, this is going to be a failure for the U.S. men's national team. And then I think definitely Berhalter should get fired. If we don't get out of this group, I think he's out.
Agreed. So I think you're right. We have to beat Bolivia, Panama first. So you never want to set yourself up and put yourself in a position where you need certain things to play out later between when they're playing each other. And then, of course, like you said, Uruguay's probably going to be the biggest threat in that group. So we want to come out with at least one win, if not two, so we can go in Uruguay feeling pretty comfortable. And, we'll do what we need to advance out of the group, but hopefully we can get 3 wins and get out of there pretty comfortably. You do bring up the fact that it is weird how do you describe the golden generation? It's how you define that, right? It's you said it. All of our club players or all of these U.S. men's national league team players, the entire starting lineup is playing abroad, and I think that's a great thing. Obviously, we like the MLS, but
Yeah,
you
and
know, the world,
they're getting
yeah,
big minutes too at the
they
top
are.
level clubs.
But the world loves, and as well, as much as me and you do, the EPL, Serie A, Bundesliga, Liga. These are the top leagues in the world. So if we have these players that are playing in these leagues, that says a lot. And yes, we've had players that play in these leagues, but never in a full starting lineup was worth. I mean, that's
Yeah,
crazy. That's great to see. I like to think that it's in itself is something that says we have an amazing team. We are ranked pretty high. So, but then again, like you said, and like some of the fans are saying, we've never on an international level proven ourselves, and
right.
this could be a stage for us to do that. Of
Yeah,
course,
it has to be. This is a trial run before the World Cup. We're gonna find out, do we belong with the big boys or do we not?
exactly.
Hopefully we do. Also, a fun fact, I was looking at my notes. We're playing against Bolivia first. Christian Pulisic, his first goal with the US senior men's team was against Bolivia in 2016. So
Okay, very nice.
it's all coming full circle.
Very nice, very nice. I think actually I saw that highlight over the weekend, but
Yeah. Another note I have, Alexi Lalas was on the show. So because
mhm.
what a lot of people are curious about is what does a successful Copa America tournament look like? And a lot
For
of
the US,
people, yeah, for the US. And a lot of
okay,
people like to say like, semifinals, finals, like reaching a certain spot, which that's what Alexi Lalas said. He said success means semifinals. And I'm just wondering what do you think about that? Do you think semifinals or quarterfinals, or does it depend who we play?
I like to think failure is not getting to the quarterfinals. We need to do that.
So we need to get out of the group, or else it's a failure.
So does it go straight to quarterfinals?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So, all right. So 100% failure if you don't get out of the group.
yeah, agreed.
That is weird to try and define success because I'm looking at these big names: Argentina, Brazil. I mean, Colombia has been historically pretty strong. I mean,
Yeah, so that's why I don't think it's as easy as Alexi Lalas says. Like, if you don't make the semifinals, it's a failure. Like, what if you beat Uruguay in group play and then you play against Brazil in the quarterfinals and you put up a good fight? It's a good game. Maybe you look like the better team, but you lose in penalties. If we beat Uruguay and keep up with Brazil, I think that's a good showing, and I think that's good enough for Berhalter to keep his job.
yeah. So I'll agree with that. I'll say we need to get out of the group, and then if we're gonna, I'd say success will be if we need to play one of these strong teams like Argentina, Brazil, maybe even Colombia. I don't know. We need to if we're gonna lose, it's got to be we need to score a goal first of all. We can't just go without scoring on these strong teams. We need to if you want to win, you got to score. So we need at least a goal, and then I'll take a tie and then loss in PKs. But of course, even talking about that sounds disappointing. It makes me kind of sad. So I don't even want to go there. But let's get to the semis if we can get to the finals, and then get excited for the World Cup.
Yeah, yeah. Either way, I'm excited because there's just so many questions around this team, and I think we're going to get a lot of answers. Hopefully, good answers. So
Right, and I do want to touch on Greg Berhalter again too. Is that was funny because me and you over the World Cup, this past World Cup, not too long ago, we were I remember when the roster came out, and I think me and you both were so disappointed in Berhalter's choice to not bring up specifically Ricardo Pepi. The
yeah,
things that Pepi was doing for the team, even I mean, pretty on pace with what he's doing right now. He's coming in scoring goals. How do you take someone who has done that for the team and not welcome them and bring them to be a leader, one of the leaders in the locker room? You may not have a starting position, sure, but to be that guy that he can sub out there and have the team feel good about themselves, and have some motivation when he comes out there, because he comes out there and scores. We've seen that, and he
yeah,
just doesn't allow him to do that in the World Cup. That was something we were both super disappointed in. I remember just talking about it now. I was just so upset with him. I was like, Berhalter, what are you doing, man? And then
yeah.
he decided that, and we just had to deal with it. But very disappointing.
Yeah, I know. And that was the one position that was lacking for the US in the World Cup. Each game they started a different striker up there between Sargent, Jesus Ferreira, and Booth, I think was for the Dutch game. So could have used Pepi, but at the time he wasn't getting minutes at his club. I think that was the reason why Berhalter didn't go with him. Obviously, I think he should have gone because Pepi was scoring goals during qualifiers. I remember against Honduras, the US was losing or they were tied. He came on and scored 2 goals. So he played a big role for qualifiers, but that's in the past. He's definitely going to get called up for the Copa America the way he's been playing right now for club and country. So we'll see. We'll see where it takes us.
Right. I like to think Berhalter has realized his mistakes.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't think it's a mistake, but at this point you have to bring Pepi, and he's got to.
Oh yeah, he's coming. The only other thing a note I had was about the mascot. I don't know if you saw the mascot. It's like it's like an eagle. It looks like the Kansas Jayhawks mascot. It looks kind of scary, to be honest. I don't know who designed that. But
I saw that connection made, and I feel like that's almost like so you got the Kansas Jayhawk, right? Who's just nothing more, I don't think, than I'm sure he's printed on shirts and everything, and he's got the actual like human mascot. But it's almost like the computerized version of what you do. I mean, almost like a Fortnite character. If you had to make that mascot a Fortnite character, boom, it's the Copa America mascot.
Yeah, for the most part, it was a cool event. I didn't know the draw had all these like dances and performances and people coming out. Ronaldinho was there. So it was a cool event. They like unveiled the ball. That was also really cool. There were some cringy parts. The people announcing, they said this tournament is not about the money. And it's like, come on, this is FIFA we're talking about, one of the most corrupt organizations. But overall, it was a cool presentation. Looking forward to Copa America. And yeah, any other notes, or should we move on to some club play with Yanks abroad?
One last thing. We've been talking about a little bit about Berhalter and his position with the team. I do want to mention that when we were disappointed in Berhalter during the World Cup time, that was I feel like at a time where I think it was concurrently happening where Jesse Marsch was Leeds United. He was coaching Leeds United, right, in the EPL, and they may not have been doing very hot, but they felt like they had a couple wins that were going their way. I think us as Americans, we were happy to see, Brandon Aronson, Tyler Adams over there. They ended up bringing Weston McKennie, but that was really cool to see. And I love Jesse Marsch. He seemed like he's a really good guy. I think he's coaching somewhere in Europe still. But he gave a interview the other day where he was talking about the U.S. men's national team and their golden generation label and how they, haven't necessarily lived up to it on international play. I think he made a great point. And I remember that just brought back flashbacks of, wow, I really wish when Berhalter was going through the whole Reina thing that Jesse Marsch was more seriously considered and potentially brought onto the team. Maybe he was. We don't know the depth of it, but I was excited to think that maybe he was going to be the coach for the U.S. team.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll ever know that. I mean, the whole U.S. we could have a whole separate podcast about it. How Berhalter was fired from being the coach, and then there was like a year-long search to look for a new coach just to bring Berhalter back. Like, I don't know. We'll never know the details of what went on behind the doors, but right now Berhalter's our coach, and we got to hope for the best. And if it doesn't go well in Copa America, I assume it'll be time to bring in a new coach.
Agreed. All right, let's go to Yanks abroad. What do you want to touch first?
Should we talk about Pepi since we started talking about Pepi in the previous segment? Yeah, so PSV played. Pepi was subbed on in the 76th minute, and no surprise, Pepi scored in the 78th minute. This guy, I said it on the last episode, you should put him on as a sub after the first minute. If he comes on as a sub, he's scoring so many goals. He's playing great.
I agree. That was that was so cool to see. I mean, that's literally the epitome of he comes down and scores goals. I mean, you can't get any better than that. He comes down 2 minutes later, scores a goal. That's awesome. Good stuff. They won 2-0 that game, right, against Herenveen in the Eredivisie.
Yeah,
that was last Thursday. So good job, Pepi and team. I think did all of the Americans get out in the field that game?
Yeah, Malik Tillman started as well, or not as well. Malik started along with Serginho Dest. Malik Tillman actually had an assist. So both goals by Americans. Well, Malik Tillman with the assist, Pepi with the goal. There were two separate goals. The first goal, Malik Tillman assisted, and then the second goal, Pepi scored. Serginho also almost scored. Serginho, I love the way Serginho plays. I know he had his mental health down, still TBD if we totally forgave him, but he's just so good. I love having a defender who just goes up the pitch and dribbles through players, takes people on. He plays so many dangerous ball. Him and Anthony Robinson, having them for the US on both sides, they're both in great form. They're just playing in balls from the sides.
Hmm.
I'm getting excited.
Yeah, so I do see that Dust and Tillman both got to play a full 90 minutes for that game. Both had pretty good ratings, but the entire team did. I mean, they won 2-0, and so didn't have too much trouble going on there. But I, I, I don't, I feel like I don't know Tillman that well, but it is good to see him playing for this team and getting those minutes and having that impact because I feel like I still need to convince myself that he is somebody that can make impacts for the U.S. team against good teams. You know, when we're playing against Trinidad and Tobago, we expect pretty much every player on the field to show something. I feel like I haven't seen enough from Tillman, but maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not because I'm feeling the same energy as a Pulisic or a
Yeah,
McKinney.
agreed.
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean he's still young, he's up and coming, but yeah, I mean I don't know that he'll live up to the Pulisic and Weah and McKinney, but I mean people get injured like we see with Tyler Adams all the time. So like depth is important. In the past, I don't think the US teams has had a lot of depth, but now like I mean even our subs are getting good quality minutes out in
mhm.
Europe. So like we have depth, which is good because injuries happen.
Agreed.
Speak you were talking about ratings. I was looking at the AC Milan game ratings. Pulisic, uh, AC Milan tied the game 2-2. I forget in which minute, but Pulisic
Which game are we
actually
talking
had
about? We're talking Milan versus.
it was the one where they lost 3-2. It was this past Saturday.
I got you. Okay, against Atalanta, 3-2. Gotcha.
Yeah, but Pulisic had the highest rating from AC Milan that game. He's in such good form right now. I was watching the game. He's dangerous. He's taking players on from the outside. He had an assist in the game. So yeah, Yanks abroad are doing pretty good.
Yeah, I did see that Pulisic and Musa were both got to play the full 90 in that game, so that was good to see too. They both got rated in the sevens. Pulisic with a 7-7, Musa with a 7-2.
Yeah,
And
and
I think that AC Milan has been. I can't remember. I feel like they're being inconsistent on which side they played Pulisic and Musa on. I feel like I've seen them on the right side before. I think this game they were both on the left. So Pulisic was playing in front of Musa, which is cool to see them on the same side so they can kind of work off of each other. And ideally, they bring that over to the U.S. team when they play. But it's definitely cool to see them doing that.
yeah, Musa's rating was 7.2, and that was the third best for AC Milan. So they both had a really good game.
Okay, nice.
And the game itself was tied 2-2, and then Milan conceded in stoppage time, the 94th minute, to lose
Oh,
3-2. So there's been so many games recently, I feel like, where there's stoppage time drama. Last week, Juventus scored in stoppage time to win. There's been a lot of those, a lot of drama this year, which is always fun or
yep.
sad, depending on which side you are.
Those two boys, they are doing good over for Milan. I do want to mention that they are third on the Serie A table behind. Let's see here, nine 9 points behind Inter and 7 points behind Juventus. So
Should
a
we
little bit
talk
behind.
about
But
should we talk about them next and then go into EPL about Juventus?
oh, sure, yeah. Let's go to Juventus.
Yeah. So over here we only have Weston McKennie. Well, currently playing. Weah is still injured, but he should be coming back soon. I saw a report that early January, middle of January, he should be back. That's in like 3 weeks. That'll be really good. And we'll see what his role is. As it goes for the game that they played Napoli and won 1-0. McKennie attempted a bicycle kick. It looked sick, but unfortunately, the keeper, he got a fist to the ball like the same time that McKennie's foot hit the ball. But hey, why not? Send it. Try it out.
Yep. Love to see that. Anytime you see that overhead bicycle kick, even if it's maybe USA's worst enemy, don't want that to go in. But usually you want to see those things go in.
Yeah, it's fun to even try them.
Yeah.
But yeah, McKennie played almost the whole game. He got subbed out in the 92nd minute, which really at just pretty much the whole game. It's just the manager's trying to waste time. So
Yeah.
again, McKennie, he's a solidified starter. We talked about this last week, getting full minutes at a really good club. So our midfield's really shaping up for the US with McKennie, um, Pulisic is a winger. Musa's playing full minutes for Milan. So we're getting really good minutes. And back to that golden generation thing, like I said, if you look at just club, we have players in the top tier clubs playing full games or most of games, and they're scoring goals and contributing. The US team has never had that. We just need to see that translate to the US men's national team, whether it's Berhalter needs to figure out how to make the mesh or a new manager come in. We need to see everything that's happening in club play transition over to the national team.
Right. And that's the job of the coach, right? If he can't do it well enough, then he's not doing his job. Shouldn't deserve it. Whether or not Berhalter's doing that, I'm not going to say yes or no. He's doing, an okay job. We got these quality players. It's going to be hard for them to make it somewhat mesh. And we've seen it, against these worser teams, but little things we just need to fix and make it work. So
yeah. Again, Copa America will be the tryout.
This is it. This is a real tryout.
Yeah. All right.
Robert, Serie A. Move on to the next one.
Yeah, some EPL action. So I was thinking we do the way we should structure is first talk about our US men's national team in the EPL, and then we'll talk about just EPL and MLS finals, obviously. MLS finals is going last because I'm still upset about that Apple TV deal. That makes it so hard to watch.
Yeah, agreed.
So Fulham, they had 2 games. They had December 6th, which was a Wednesday. They played against Nottingham Forest, which that's where Matt Turner plays, but he's still in the doghouse. And thank God Fulham kicked their ass. They won 5-0, which is great because they made Nottingham Forest goalkeeper look bad, letting 5 goals in against Fulham. I mean, Fulham's they're not top of the table. You don't expect to lose to Fulham 5-0.
Right.
So that was great to see. Anthony Robinson is on Fulham, but they won 5-0, so he didn't have all that much to do on defense.
So I will note that, Anthony Robinson had a rating of 7.7, so very pretty good. He was the best defender on the roster for that game, so that's very good to see. He was subbed off in the 75th minute, so he played most of the game. And you're right, 5-0. I mean, that's a solid win for the Fulham boys. It did have a note. As we've seen, like you said, Matt Turner was on the bench, but then also Tim Ream didn't play.
That's right. Yeah, he didn't play both games. I think they're kind of phasing him out a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, so he didn't play on Wednesday, and then he didn't play when they play yesterday. Is today Sunday?
Saturday.
Still? Okay. Yeah. So they didn't play yesterday, and we don't know why, right? So it's a little scary to see because from what we know, there's no big injury that would keep him out of the starting lineup. But he didn't. Not only did he not start, he didn't play. So
yeah,
I don't know why.
I think they might be trying to go in a different direction, give the younger guys some time because he is 38. As much as I love him, he is 38, and I'm 29, and I already feel my form going down. So I don't know. Maybe Fulham's planning for the future. I still think Ream is going to be there for the Copa America because that's in 6 months. But in 2 years for the World Cup, he's going to be 40. I mean, I don't know. 40 seems to be the magic number where people start to retire.
Yeah.
But he did say his goal is to play in the World Cup. So he'd be 40 in the World Cup.
I hope he's playing in the World Cup.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Even if he doesn't play, I think he should still get called up because he's a veteran, voice in the locker room if shit hits the fan.
Leader on the bench, agreed.
Yeah, exactly. I do follow Anthony Robinson on Instagram, and I am a little bit worried about him. The new Call of Duty Warzone dropped, and he posted on Instagram. So just a little bit worried he might be spending too much time on Warzone and not on the training field. So
can I ask this? How's Tyreek Hill's football career been going since Fortnite's been going back to the OG map and everything? Because he's a big Fortnite guy.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think Tyreek Hill is still doing well in the NFL.
I mean, yeah, he's unstoppable. So a good player, he can do whatever he wants as long as he's getting it done on the field.
All right, so I have nothing to worry about, is what you're saying. He's going to continue to dominate.
Anthony's fine. Let him have his fun in his off time.
Yeah. So the next game was against West Ham that Fulham played. and
Just
finally,
yesterday, yep.
finally Matt Turner was back. And thank God, because I have so many stats for you on
Matt
why.
Turner. Wait, hold on. We said Fulham, West Ham.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Uh,
sorry. I'm sorry. I messed that up. Nottingham's game
gotcha.
yesterday. He came back. My
Okay.
bad. Well, yeah, we could talk about Fulham. Fulham won 5-0
Against
again.
West Ham yesterday. That's 2-5-0 wins in a row. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. So they're looking good. And Anthony
Fulham.
Robinson again didn't have all that much to do because they're up 5-0.
Mm-hmm. So Fulham is 10th on the table now. So they brought up they obviously have 6 points in the past 2 games, and that's a very good goal differential help too. So good job, Fulham boys. But yeah, going back to Nottingham Forest, like you mentioned, Matt Turner getting the start.
Yep, they played against Wolves and tied 1-1.
That's right.
I was getting worried that Turner is not going to come back because I did some digging.
Mm-hmm.
Their owner is Greek, and the
Ah.
other goalkeeper, he's Greek's number one. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, maybe Matt Turner is just not going to play because the Greek guy wants his Greek player to play well. And I started looking at the stats, and I was just like, it is unbelievable that Matt Turner is not starting. Here's some stats. Matt Turner played 11 games and conceded 16 goals. So that's an average of 1.45 goals per game. Vlahodimos played 5 games and conceded 12 goals. That's 2.4 goals per game. And now I know you might think, like, oh, Matt Turner probably played against worse clubs. Not the case. Turner played against Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, Manchester United, and Arsenal. Lahodimos played against West Ham, Brighton, Everton, Fulham. So Turner played way better teams and gave up way less goals. Um, so yeah, glad he's back. I have a lot more stats. I really got into the numbers of shot expected. There's like shot expected goal set, which is essentially how many
Mm-hmm.
more or less goals you are letting in compared to the expected amount. And Vlachodimos is giving up 0.65 more goals per 90 minutes than he's supposed to, which is the worst in the EPL for any goalkeeper with at least 4 starts. Turner's giving up 0.16 per 90, which is on the lower end. I mean, it's a huge difference. If you extrapolate that across 10 games, that means Turner would give up 1.6 more goals than he's expected to. And Vlahodimos would give up 6.4 more goals than he's expected to, which is a huge difference. That's a 5 goal difference across 10 games.
Huh.
But anyways,
Yeah.
I don't need to talk about all that because Matt Turner's back. So we're fine.
Right. I don't wish bad on the other goalkeeper, and I don't necessarily, I'm not gonna say care as much for Nottingham Forest, but if Matt Turner's not playing, I'm not really too excited for it. But now that he's back, agreed. We're happy to see that, and ideally he keeps that spot. The numbers speak for themselves. I think you just said it. I mean, keep him on there. They are
Yeah.
going to be doing better.
I will say the reason Matt Turner got put in the doghouse is because he had a really bad play against Liverpool. So hopefully he learns from that. You know, it's nice that the dominoes fell the way they did with this other goalkeeper just not performing well. But hopefully Matt Turner takes advantage of this opportunity now. Because if this other goalkeeper performed well, I don't think Matt Turner would have seen the pitch for the rest of the season. But he's got another opportunity now to show what he's made of. Hopefully he keeps the job. And then our goalkeeper for the U.S. men's national team is solidified. Right now, it's Matt Turner's job to lose because I just don't see anybody else taking it for
Right.
the U.S. men's national team.
I do like Gaga, right, Spalina, but for some reason he hasn't had too much playing time in these higher divisions of the leagues that we're watching.
Yeah, he plays in Belgium right now. I saw he played the other day. I think they lost 3-1, but I don't know. It's impossible to cover every player on here. We'll definitely cover it if there's more action coming from him. He's on loan from Chelsea. So just not much of an update there right now. At least not as much of an update to take Matt Turner's job at this point in time. Hopefully
Right.
in a couple years, I mean, he's only like 18 or 19 years old. So,
Right.
hopefully he develops into a great goalkeeper.
That youth is exciting to see, and like you said, I would love to see that happen. Let's see here. I'm going to touch a couple of quick notes for a couple of EPL games before we shift over to the other division or the other leagues with a couple of the other USA boys. But a couple of points I want to, or a couple of games I want to point out here is Arsenal beat Luton Town 4-3. That was coming up on a week ago. That was last Tuesday. That was kind of a crazy game because it was at Luton Town. Luton Town actually want to say was up at one point, and then Arsenal. It's a tiny little stadium, so it's cool to see these fans sitting up close. It was a night game, so it made it look small, intimate, almost reminding you of high school. But 3-3, and then Declan Rice comes in and scores in the 97th minute, which kind of knocked the wind out of all the fans of Luton Town. But we love to root the underdogs on, especially a team like Luton Town, first time in the EPL for a long time, and disappointed to see. But classic Arsenal. There was a lot of haters that were saying the stoppage time is always 90 plus until Arsenal scores, and that's kind of what happened here. So that's what everyone's saying.
Yeah, I love how on that stadium how unique it is because the fans sit so close. Like after Declan Rice scored, he ran to the corner and fans were like on the pitch, like begging the crowd. It was awesome to see all that emotion.
Yeah. I'm sure those fans get smashed for these games, especially these hosting Arsenal, these Man Cities, Man Uniteds, all that stuff.
Yeah, and then Luton Town, they played Manchester City yesterday, and they were up 1-0,
which
is wild.
Yeah, I'm sure those fans are going crazy for that. But then they ended up losing, right? I think it was
2-1.
Yeah, so sad to see that. But good job, Luton boys. We're rooting you on.
Yeah, we are. We're rooting for the underdog. I mean, I don't think anybody expected them to play this well against top clubs, Manchester City and Arsenal. Like they could have gotten a point out of either of those.
Agreed. I'm a fan, and I do want to compare them a little bit to Wrexham. I feel like Wrexham has gotten that Hollywood glamour because of clearly they were bought out, or obviously they were bought out by Mac from Sunny and then Ryan Reynolds, and I think those guys are pretty cool. So when that documentary came out, I was watching a little bit, never really caught on, but I feel like the Luton Town is just like the real life version of, or they did it quicker and are doing the present day, the EPL present day version of what Wrexham wants to do in the future here. So we'll also point out Liverpool, they beat Sheffield 2-0. Nothing crazy there, but it was kind of funny because I don't know if you saw the highlight. Trent and Alexander.
Oh, his butt.
Yeah. So he was taking the corner. This is when they scored, and that's why it's going to come up in the highlight reel, is he's taking the corner, and you can see him take his hands and like pull his shorts down and then pull his shirt up. So you see like top of his butt cheeks and like the crack, like a couple inches, just like the camera's just looking at it. No one's going to call it out from the announcers because you can't, right? It's like, what? But it's just hilarious because he, rips the ball in. I think it's a header, goes in. And it's just like, oh, here we go. We're celebrating.
I did see that.
So that's pretty funny. What else we got? Man United beat Chelsea 2-1. Chelsea's woes continue. But I don't understand them. I think they have an American owner, so maybe that's a little bit of Yank territory for us to cover. But he came in, bought out a bunch of players, spent millions and millions, I think the most at the transfer window, and they cannot win games. I don't know what it is. I'm happy for it because I'm a United fan. So United was able to pull it off, but United's been struggling too. So good to see that happen.
I think it's because Pulisic left. That's why Chelsea's struggling.
Honestly,
I'll go with that. I know it's not true, but that's why.
When he was there, he was doing great, especially when they were starting to trend down. He was coming in late into games, getting subbed on and showing some energy. And I know Chelsea fans appreciated that. They don't have that anymore, and they have these players that are supposed to be doing well. Can't figure it out. I don't know why. What else we got? Aston Villa, I saw beat City 1-0 the other day, earlier in the week. And I believe actually Liverpool's sitting at the top of the table for the Premier League, which is cool to see. City's now in fourth place. So it goes Liverpool 37 points, Arsenal 36 points, Aston Villa 35, Man City 33, and then Tottenham at 30. I kind of want to shift away here from the EPL because we still got to cover. I got a couple notes.
Final.
Yeah, you can go for it first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw before the game, like the leading up to it, LAFC fans got in trouble for lighting flares.
I did not
Did you see that? Yeah, so they got in trouble. The MLS, they're called illegal smoke flares, which is so ridiculous. And LAFC got a $100K fine, and their supporters are like not allowed back into the stadium for next year until an investigation is launched, which that made me so annoyed because like we're trying to build a league here. And this is what you do to some of the supporters. On top of that, again, the Apple TV deal where we just can't watch the games. It's just MLS is shooting it themselves in the foot.
But it was a good game, right? It was
Yeah.
a rainy night in
Sorry,
Columbus.
one more thing. The ironic part is I bet the MLS is going to use photos and videos from that to, like on their marketing
No,
materials from all those
yeah.
players.
Well, that happens to their fans sometimes. Sometimes you got to punish, but ideally that doesn't,
Yeah,
slow things down for us. I will say it was a rainy night in Columbus, but it looked like from what I watched a little bit, it was a little chippy at different points in time.
it was.
I do
Yeah.
want to call out something I hate when I see soccer is obviously the flopping and stuff. I don't know
Yeah.
if you saw Cucho Hernandez. Cuco Hernandez, I forget how to say his name. Yeah, at one point he gets tackled by Carlos Vela. Do we even say that Columbus won 2-1? So good
We did
job,
not
Columbus.
know. Yeah.
Columbus won 2-1 against LAFC. But Cuco Hernandez, a Columbus player, gets tackled by Carlos Vela. And I don't know if you saw it. It was
I
Neymar-esque,
did.
dude. The dude,
He had a seizure. He literally had a seizure.
it was, and I know announcers use this term theatrical, but dude, this was the definition of guy gets clipped and then he starts like flopping like a fish, rolling around. It was
Yeah, I
it
saw
was
that.
it's embarrassing.
I hate
It's
that.
also hilarious, and I wish that announcers would call that out because I feel like the announcers didn't even say anything, but someone needs to in live moments say like, "Wow, this is what we don't need. We need to stay away from." Yes, if you want to take one little roll, even that's I don't like. But if you're gonna roll around 5 different times, and start screaming, you can. I think the audio picked him up. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, and he was okay. I understand if you are actually hurt, that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. But like he got up and kept playing. He was just trying to get the foul. I hate that as well. Hate diving. No place for that in this game. But I
Yeah.
mean, I did like the fan atmosphere seemed really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I wish we had better chance in the MLS and also I guess US men's national team. Uh when the Yanks come marching in, it's great. But if we had more stuff that they do in the EPL, they have some clever chants there. Like
Yeah.
if they had something for Pepi, like Ricardo Pepi, we've got Pepi. I just don't think you understand. He comes off the bench, he'll make your balls clench. We've got Ricardo Pepi. Just witty
Wait. So
stuff like that.
you just saying you made that up, or did you come up with that?
I did come up with that. I was like, Pepe needs a song. He's coming off the bench doing so well. And
Okay,
then,
definitely could be workshop. I like the idea there. I think we got to wrap up here, but a couple notes I want to point out. Darlington Nagbe won his fourth MLS Cup. I don't know if you saw that. He had won previously with Atlanta
I did,
United
yeah.
and what's the other team? Portland Timbers, and then he also has an NCAA title, so he's got a great career. But yeah, good game all around. So a couple of other leagues we want to highlight here before the episode wraps up is League One and Bundesliga highlights. Not much in League One, but Monaco did play Rennes and beat them 2-1 just yesterday. Balogun had 2 assists. I don't know if you saw that.
Nice.
So very important there. Monaco actually is second on the table right now with 30 points behind guess who? PSG.
PSG. Wow.
Yeah, you're right. So they have 36 points. So they're not too far behind. So it's actually very impressive to see Monaco keep up. I'm not too familiar with the rest of the competition in that league, but honestly, before Balogun went over to Monaco, I could have maybe named 3 teams that were in League One. So I probably still can only name 4 or 5, but I mean, Monaco keeping up there with the likes of, Bappe, Dembele, and Donnarumma and squad. That's good to see.
Yeah, and for US men's national team, I mean, our striker position's pretty solidified. Even like the top 3, it's Balogun, Pepi, and Josh Sargent. Like we got depth, we have talent. So good to have.
Agreed. Anything else for League One?
No, nothing for mine.
Okay, got a couple notes in the Bundesliga here. Union Berlin played, I don't even know how to say their name, Gladbach, something like that. So Union Berlin won 3-1. That was just yesterday as well. We had Brendan Aronson playing. We had Scally out there as well. They were playing against each other because Aronson is on Union Berlin. Scally's on Gladbach. So actually, Brendan Aronson did not start. He subbed on in the 74th minute, had a rating of 6.8. Not the greatest rating, but it's good to see him having minutes out there. I love the guy. I know he's pretty squirrely. I've said that before. I think he's a great midfielder. So it's important for him to get his minutes out there in these top leagues. Scally got subbed off. He started. He's a starter for Gladbach. He got subbed off in the 70th minute. It's kind of funny. He actually got a yellow card in the 3rd minute of the game. I didn't see the highlight, but I don't know what happened there. If maybe he had to do what he had to do and stop a breakaway, tactical foul. But he had a rating of 7.1, which is pretty good. So good job, Scally. So I do want to make some points of the Bundesliga standings. Union Berlin is number 15 on the table, so kind of funny that Brendan Aronson is kind of jumping around from these teams that are battling with relegation everywhere. But they're number 15 on the table, which is only 1 point above relegation right now, because they have 9 points, and the teams below 8 are getting regulated right now. But plenty of games to be played yet, so nothing to worry about. Also, Gladbach is number 10 on the table, so just a little bit higher. They're only 7 points above regulation, so it looks like that bottom half of the table is not very spread apart. But our boys are playing and doing all right, so that's good to see. I will point out that Leverkusen is actually in first with 35 points, and Bayern is right behind them with 32 points. But Bayern also, I don't know if you saw this, there's no US players over there, but they just lost 5-1 to Frankfurt, who's number 7 on the table. So that's kind of crazy. A team like Bayern should never be losing that bad to anybody in the Bundesliga that's not in the top 3, but I don't know
Yeah,
what
I did
happened
not
there.
see that.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I didn't see the highlights or anything, but definitely very surprising to see that. I will say Dortmund. I don't know if any notes on that game, Union Berlin and Gladbach. I don't see their name.
Nope, nothing for me.
Okay, and I don't know if you saw Dortmund played RB Leipzig. Dortmund lost 2-3, and then Gio Reyna was out there. Although he did not start, I'm not entirely sure what his situation is over there right now. I feel like he was
Yeah,
starting at one point, and then
he's
that
not
kind of went
getting many
away.
minutes. Like Champions League, he wasn't playing. He's just, yeah, I think he needs a new club because he needs more minutes.
I do like him though in the yellow over there. And there was at one point, I want to say it was like around the Gold Cup time where he did not get playing time, but he would come on and score almost a
Yeah,
couple bangers
yeah.
in the
Last last
late
year,
subs.
yeah, last year he was coming on a lot and scoring, and then this year
Mhm.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know why he's. I was expecting him to get more minutes, especially with Jude Bellingham departing to Madrid. I thought Gio Reyna would get more minutes, but just doesn't seem like it. Even Champions League, like he's not even coming on as a sub.
Yeah, sad to see, but hopefully that changes. I mean, we think he's a great player. He does a good job for the US, and we know that he can show some talented stuff. So
Yeah,
if he gets that opportunity, hopefully he can show it in a game that matters, and then he'll earn his playing time back.
yeah.
He
And
only
if
got 8 minutes
not,
of play in that game.
I mean, maybe try a new club because I mean, playing somewhere is better than not playing at a good club.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his contract looks like over there, but he only got 8 minutes to play that game, so I'd like to see him play a little bit more. Maybe he'll think about it. Maybe he already is. I don't know. Time to find out. All right. Anything else to cover in the league play?
Nope.
All right. What do we got coming up?
All right. Coming up, we got PSV playing Arsenal in the last leg of Champions League. PSV already advanced, but it'll be fun to see PSV take on a good opponent in Arsenal. We'll see Pepi, hopefully Tillman, definitely Serginho Dest in action. And then also on Paramount, the $1 billion goal is coming out. It's a documentary about the US and their 40-year drought in the World Cup back in 1980. The US, it took them 40 years to qualify. So this documentary talks about that qualification and the pressure and really that 1980 World Cup or 1990 World Cup is kind of what set the stage for their future because they didn't qualify for 40 years, which is
Hmm.
now if we don't qualify, that's a huge disaster. So that'll be good to watch. I'll definitely be watching it and maybe we could talk about it here on the show.
Yeah, so I mean, when we didn't qualify for the World Cup, I can't remember the last one before the one that we just had. That one was sad to
Yeah, that
hear.
was Russia 2018. 2018 Russia.
I mean, that was very, very sad. So I mean, the $1 billion goal, sounds like something we should watch. I'll put it on my list here, and it'll be cool to come back with some cool notes from that one.
Yeah, they have it's actually the last show that do you remember the journalist that died in Qatar? The
Yes.
American journalist. I forgot his name, but he's in it and it's one of his like last productions he put on before passing away, unfortunately. So
Okay.
I'll definitely be watching it.
Yep.
But yeah,
I will aim to do so as well. Get some history there.
that's that's all we got for this week's episode of Yanks on the Pitch. Thank you all for tuning in.
Cool. Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks, Kash. Bye.
Bye.